I know he cheats on me. I know he's abusive. I know he does things that he's not supposed to do. But he is a good man. He takes care of my needs. He makes me complete. You know, like I can be called a missus. So to me, I would rather stay here than to go out in the streets. The grass is not greener outside. I just feel like if I live in today, who is going to accept me? And the society is going to judge me and say, oh, you're divorced. So I would just stay here. I don't care. He can continue doing what he wants to do. One day, God will touch his heart and he will change. Hmm. 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 Okay. Hmm. Hmm. This is Blessing Anson, and welcome to today's episode of How to Not Be a Pygmy. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about how to navigate this life and the stress of life that comes sometimes with relationship. And one way to avoid being a pygmy is to shame, shame. Okay? So, what does that mean, you may ask? So, in order to fit in to the kind of society we find ourselves today, in order to live boldly, freely, unapologetically, is by shaming shame. So, you have to shame as a woman living in the kind of world we live today. When I started the intro on today's episode, I talked about, I gave a narration of the woman that was married to an abusive man, married to a cheater, and but she still wanted to stay in that relationship because she was ashamed. What would people say if I get divorced? Who is going to accept me as a divorced woman? So I would rather stay here because the grass is not greener outside. But sorry, lady, if you have the same mindset, if you think the same way, I want to tell you that the grass is greener at the other side. Okay? The grass is greener at the other side. So these are the kind of things that the society says to women that makes them remain in a toxic relationship. And in order to navigate this world, this life, the society that makes women to feel like a second fiddle, one way to do that is to shame. Most times, people wonder why women are put in this situation. It is due to the social, cultural, or psychological expectations in a society we find ourselves today. Fortunately, there are societies that do not feel like women should be subjugated. And this is why when a woman gets divorced, you see that benefits that are supposed to be given to her are given to her. The court systems make sure that women are not thrown into the street without anything to fall back on. And this system has made a lot of men to become responsible. A lot of men are actually brought up by their family, their parents, to understand that women are important, to understand that women should be respected. Okay, and so these men get married to women because they see the way their fathers treated their mothers, and they in turn begin to treat their wives as princesses. They begin to treat their wives the way they deserve to be treated. They don't cheat on their wives, they are not abusive towards their wives. And in a situation where they make the mistake or where they fall into the temptation of cheating, they take full responsibility for it. They understand that they've made a mistake, they've gone against their marital and they apologize. Not in a situation where some men feel like they're entitled to it. And when a woman makes the mistake to complain and say, "Why are you cheating?" they become abusive because they feel that men and women are not equal. And so, in such a society where men are given all the privileges, no matter what they do, even when they abandon their kids, they don't take care of the kids, there is nothing like child support. The man is free to do whatever he wants to do. And in such society, you find out that a lot of women are groomed to accept this abnormal and begin to see it as a norm. And so, because of this, a lot of women are shamed. A lot of women become pygmies. Whether consciously or unconsciously, they become pygmies. And that is why you see a woman that is in an abusive relationship having the mind to still call that man a good man, a kind man, because that is all they are used to. And so, as a woman that finds herself in such a society where women are subjugated, where women are meant to be subservient, to be submissive, to keep quiet when men are talking, how do you navigate such a toxic environment? One way to do that is to shame. You are not ashamed. You are not scared of living your life in your full femininity. You are bold, you are smart, you're educated, whether book wise or smart wise, you are a woman that is in tune with her femininity. A woman that understands that whether you are male or female or whatever sex you are equal as human beings. And so that way, you begin to understand your worth. You begin to know your privileges as a lovely daughter of an heavenly father. And so that way, you would not be found in a situation where you accept abuse because the society accepts it. A lot of women have involuntarily, invariably, unconsciously become pygmies in the society. They pander to men, they pander to everyone just because they want to fit in. By the time you shame, you understand your worth. And then, even as a divorced woman, even as a single woman that has never been married, no matter your age, you're able to walk with your head held high. You're able to walk in the street with pride and confidence. Your life is not tied to a man. If a good and quality man comes your way, fine. But if none comes your way, you are okay being single. When you walk on the streets, because in societies like that, there is always one nosy neighbor or sibling or relation that is asking you those questions. When are you going to get married? But because you've been able to shame, you do not even give in to what they say, to their mockery, to their shares, to whatever they feel they want to say. It does not bother you because you have shame, and you are only going to go for the best. But if you have not shamed shame and you become a pick me, you begin to explain to everyone that comes your way. You begin to say, "Oh, I'm a good girl, I'm a good lady, I'm a good woman. Unfortunately, no man has come my way." You begin to go to places all in a bid to look for a man. And at the end of the day, you end up with garbage because you become desperate. When you shame, there will be nothing as desperation in your dictionary. When you shame, no societal jest, no societal mockery or whatever is going to move you because you know who you are. You know your worth. And so whatever they say does not concern you. Their words are not going to push you into the wrong hands. Because when you begin to go through all those problems, they are not going to be there. Okay? And so shame, and take your life in your own hands. Work on yourself. Get an education if you don't already have one. Think of yourself, love yourself so much to the extent that you would never settle for mediocrity, no matter what the society thinks. Okay? And so by the time you begin to think this way, you begin to understand the fundamental principles of how to shame shame. You begin to understand that you are more important than any other person in the world. And because you are important, you are going to love yourself enough to not settle, and you will never be a pick me. If you've watched this video to this point, I would appreciate if you click on the like button, on the share button, and subscribe to our channel. Um, this um, this topic is going to come to you every week, okay? And next week we're going to have another interesting topic. And before I go, I want to leave you with 5 tips and ways to shame shame. Number one is love yourself. Okay? By the time you love yourself, you will not even think about what any other person is saying because you love yourself enough to not want to hurt yourself by settling. Okay? Number two, as we said in the first episode, is to acquire an education. The importance of education in a woman's life can never be overemphasized. Education gives you a sense of confidence. Education gives you that knowledge to know how to separate the wheat from the chaff. Okay, whether it's you book-wise education, because not everyone is definitely going to get educated by going to school, but you can enroll yourself in courses, you can get certifications, or you can even get an handwork. It could be baking, it could be sewing, it could be cooking, it could be anything. you know you can even be tech savvy. That those are There are different ways, in ways you can get educated. Education does not necessarily mean going to a school or something. And by the time you become that way, you see that it will lead to the third thing. You become empowered. So one another way, the third way to shame is to be empowered. When you're empowered, you have a voice. You have a voice. You're able to speak up. You're able to empowerment can never be overemphasized for women. Be empowered. You know, help yourself. Get things that will make you have a voice. So education leads to empowerment. Okay, and the fourth thing, to shame is to be focused. Be focused. You have a destination. You're not going to stop by the way and listen to everyone that backs. Just be focused. Look at the end goal, okay? If you're looking for a quality man, that should be your end goal. Don't let the society make you a pick me, whereby you pander, you pander to everyone that comes your way, and that way you settle for anything. Be focused. And the fifth one is have a plan. Okay, in order to shame, you have a plan, you have a strategy, you are always thinking ahead. You're thinking, what is my life going to be in the next 5 years? Let's say, for instance, you're a woman that wants to get married and marriage is not coming your way. So, what is your plan B? Okay, and so when you have a plan, you're able to not put all your focus or all your eggs in one basket. Okay, you're thinking, okay, if I do not get married and I want to have kids, there are several ways you can have kids in today's world without actually being with a man. You can have kids by assistance reproduction, different ways you can have kids. You can adopt, you know, and that is a plan B, because now you're moving on. You're not thinking, oh, I want to by force, I must get married. And then you end up being a pick me because you want to do everything to get married to whoever, to anything. And you end up, hurting yourself, all the standards you've set, all your education, all your plans in life. You end up with someone that is just going to break you. Okay? And so we've come to the end of today's episode. And if you've watched me today and if you gained something from it, please leave a comment in the comment section, and we'll be glad we would respond to your comment. Let's interact. And please, if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe on our channel, and see you next time when I come with another interesting episode of How to Not Be a Pick Me. Bye for now.